How you doing, everyone? It is the Get Loud podcast presented by SeatGeek this summer. SeatGeek has your tickets to the best live concerts in the DMV at Northwest Stadium. SeatGeek, the official primary ticketing partner of Northwest Stadium. Michael Jenkins and Santana Moss. Tana, man, how you doing?
I'm good, Jinx. What's up, buddy?
Everything's well. This is like the calm before the storm.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You know, Fred did one of those, his episodes, so Phil and Frank is in for you today.
Well, coming up here on the show, since we're right in the cusp of summertime, we're going to talk to some guys who cover the boys this summer, talking about Mr. National Ryan Zimmerman is going to be here, and then so is Dan Kolko, the Nationals TV broadcaster. They have a podcast called the 11th Inning Podcast. We're talking a little football and baseball with them.
Can't wait.
I can't wait for that. Are you ready for football, or do you need a little time?
Jinx, I smell football in the air. You don't smell it?
Oh, man.
I can taste it, too. Tastes good.
It does taste good, especially the last season that we had, the upcoming season. The rookies have been around. So you could even tell just in the building, like just coming in here from week to week, like already, like there's just more traffic. Things are just starting to pick up.
It's just something special about what we've been feeling, man. I'm still on that high from last year, and I feel like this team understands what it has to do to continue that same kind of mentality, that same kind of run. So I can't wait.
No, I can't either, man. There's an energy here. So let's pay some bills, then we'll get to Dan and Ryan.
Let's do it. Bet365. The Get Loud podcast is brought to you by Bet365, official sports betting partner of the Washington Commanders. Bet on a range of NFL markets with Bet365 app. Craft your own personalized bet slip with Parlay. Access thousands of games with live streaming. Place your bet before the match or bet during the game. It's up to you. Download the Bet365 app today and join 80 million members worldwide. Age 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Virginia. Gambling problem? Call or text 800-GAMBLER. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Crush that. I should read this like Smoot. MWAA. We don't travel to escape life. We travel so life doesn't escape us. We dream of a place anywhere in the world, and in the blink of an eye, we are there. That is the wonder of flight. All you have to decide is where to. Dulles International Airport. Let your imagination soar. Book your adventure today at flydulles.com/nonstop. And now, let's bring in the guys from the 11th Inning Podcast. Now it's finally here, the Commanders and Nationals crossover. You know these guys, Mr. National Ryan Zimmerman, Dan Kolko, Nationals TV host. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Good, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
It's exciting to be over here, and you guys got a good thing going.
Yeah, it's nice to finally win.
Winning makes everything better.
No doubt. No question.
Winning is fun.
Yeah.
Y'all probably, I ain't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Y'all probably expected Fred, but I'm feeling Frank for the day. So
Are you going to act like Fred or?
nobody can duplicate what Fred does, man. But I'm happy that they called me because, I'm going to show him how he's supposed to do his own show.
Well, Fred keeps saying he wants to host my bachelor party, which I think we've all agreed here is when Tana's like, no.
As long as he don't do it on a boat, we all right. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm not, I think it's a hard no.
Yeah.
It's one of those things good in theory, but in practice, you're like, I don't.
Now I will say this: if you let your friends set it up and let him come and be the host, now you have.
That's why I'm trying to get you guys there. I'm trying to get Logan there.
Yeah.
I need a family man there to pull me out, out of the quicksand. So we'll see how that goes down.
If I'm there, I got your back.
Okay,
I'll make sure you.
All right, Tanner, we got to make sure you come in. So, guys, first of all, let's talk about your podcast that you guys started, and then we can talk about the national season. So this just got underway, and I saw it online a few weeks ago. So how did this get underway, and when can we see it?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of just started, I guess, this off season. They kind of asked us if we had any interest in doing it, and I've never been a social media person, and this is my 4th year retired, and figured it was about time to do something. So, me and Dan thought it'd be fun, and we have fun with it. I think we talk baseball, but we're trying to get other people on and expand it. DC has so many cool things other than sports. Obviously, we talk sports, but the things you can do in DC, food scene, just there's a bunch of good stuff. So that's kind of how that was, I guess, the thought process behind it. And like I said, I think we've done 5, so we're still learning, or I'm learning. He kind of leads me.
This is the Nationals' 21st year of existence. So now at this point, we've gone from a young team that didn't really have a lot in terms of alumni players and history, that now we've got guys that we can bring back and reminisce about the World Series year or just good times that have happened in the past. So we do some of that, But I mean, it's great being here with you guys and kind of the crossover with other teams. We had TJ Oshie and Nicholas Backstrom on from the Capitals a couple episodes ago. Scott Van Pelt joined us. So we just want to have some of the cool ties here in DC, whether they're baseball related or not, and just make it a DC centric, media opportunity. And Ryan and I have a lot of fun. We joke around. We want fans to send in funny comments and questions and stuff like that. So it's been really enjoyable for us so far.
Now, Ryan, for you, being that it's kind of new to you, because I remember being a fish out of water for myself.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself saying, okay, I know baseball, but then getting in front of this mic is a lot different from when I was in front of that mic after a game, speaking in the press conference?
Yeah, I mean,
how's that transition been for you?
This and then I've done some of the broadcasts too.
Oh, you have?
And you get nervous because you're like, oh no,
different ball game.
What if I don't know what to say?
Yeah.
But once you get going, I think you have fun with it.
Yeah.
And especially if you have good guests or if you're talking about things that you enjoy talking about, we find, we get going and then all of a sudden it's almost like an hour and they're like, hey, you need to wrap it up. And I'm like, man, we could have talked for another 30 minutes, another hour. So I enjoy it. I've enjoyed it more than I thought I would. And, for me, it's fun. I mean, that's what I do with my buddies at home.
Yeah.
I hang out. We talk about sports. We talk about, food, restaurants, things like that. So why not just do it in front of other people?
And we're, all of us are around the same age. I feel like you guys probably feel the same way. Like, to Ryan's point, like, it's just guys talking, about sports, about funny stuff that happened in their life. Like,
Just some guys talking.
that's right. That's right. And there's microphones and cameras here too.
Yeah.
No, and what is it like for you? Because I've gone through this with Tana, with Smoot, some of these guys where you covered Ryan as a player, right? And now it's like, now we're working together. So sometimes it's strange to me. And I'm like, I remember being in the locker room covering Santana or with Smoot. And now it's like, and now we're working together. So what has that transition been like?
It initially I think was a little different, but Ryan and I, I covered him for a long time, and it was a reporter, broadcaster, player type of relationship. And then as time has gone on and as he's been retired, we'll see each other at social situations now. Like, we ran into each other at the Caps game the other day. He was sitting 6 rows in front of me on the glass, of course.
Of course.
But we'll get drinks on occasion. It's kind of more from a relationship at the ballpark to us just kind of being around each other in a different sort of way. And I just like that I can tee him up to tap into his brain and get I like to joke that Ryan, when he was playing, you become a robot, right? That's kind of what they want you to become. Now I can help show people that he's got a personality. Yeah. That he's got a sense of humor, because he really does. So just trying to pull that out of him and help people see that.
I mean, I think it was just easier to be that way when you played. I mean, especially for us. You guys played once a week, so it was a little bit different. But when we played every day. Yeah. So it was just easier for me to basically say the same thing, good or bad, whether I played well or bad. And honestly, the media, they didn't stop coming to me, but they knew what I was going to say. And, I think people respected that. And, I think the players that end up doing this, you still have to realize it. I've learned, you got to remember how hard the game was. It's not, it looks way easier when you're talking about it. Yeah. So I try and make sure I do that. But, people just want to hear. I mean, this day and age, everyone wants to hear things that they think they can't hear anywhere else, or the insight, or peeling back the curtain, like we say. That's what people want to hear. And I think, sports has been they not do that for so long. And I think a lot of this media stuff now allows us to do that within reason, I guess, is the best way to put it. Yeah,
we'll tell some of the stories that happen behind the scenes. Not all of them, maybe, but some of them.
Yeah. What? And maybe this is for both of you guys here, which is, at what point in your respective careers did you become maybe comfortable being in front of the camera or comfortable opening up a little? I mean, Zim, I remember, because I'm definitely the oldest guy here. I remember covering you at RFK when you were drafted, and everyone's like, Ryan Zimmerman, he's the face of this franchise. And you are still to this day. But that means a long time ago. But initially it was kind of quiet, kind of to himself. And now, Tana, I remember when you started working, we started working together. So to see you guys both come along has been very fascinating to watch. When did you each sort of feel like, okay, now I feel like I can be a little bit more myself?
Well, as a player, I think it happened to me later in my career, especially when I kind of felt it was coming to the end. I was able to say, let me go out here and, change the narrative. When we play the game and it's easy to say, okay, this happened, so we're going to talk about this. I used to jump ahead of the media and say, hey, I'm open. So I could come and then talk. And then they get a different perspective. It's not, because, let's say, for instance, we had a game. I remember this game like it was yesterday. I come off an injury. I had a groin strain, and we playing Green Bay, if I'm not mistaken. I fumble the ball. Charles Wilson runs it back for a touchdown. I believe they beat us by 2 points. And we can, and I did a bunch of other things that weren't like myself, but I was coming off an injury. So I'm saying to myself, I suck. We lost the game because of me. Probably not, but still, I put it on myself. I immediately got in front of the camera and said it. Look, man, I should have played better. We lost that game because of me. The media probably could have tore me up and just say, Tanner dropped the pass, he fumbled the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I got ahead of it. So, and by that time, I knew what I was doing now. I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm the one that's creating the narrative instead of allowing them, because I've got a chance to really be around long enough to know that, hey, just open up and talk to them. And it was easy as crap to do that once I started realizing, like, look, man, on good games and bad games, just get out there and speak your piece. And when I started doing that, man, they kind of like, they wouldn't even want to come talk to me at the time. So, that's when it kind of hit me, but it took probably like 10 years before I started doing that.
Yeah, I think he's right. At the beginning, you just don't want to do anything wrong. Like the veteran guys are like, hey, speak when spoken to. Don't, they'll come ask you. But I think what he said is spot on. Like, the media is pretty easy to deal with when you think about it. When you do well, they're going to ask you questions about how great you are, and when you do bad, they're going to ask you questions why you suck. I mean, it's really not bad. And if you're the same person when you have a bad game, like he said, as when you have a good game, like, then they start to respect you. And I think honestly, the fans respect you more for that too. I mean, if you continually mess up, they're going to get upset. But I think they understand. A lot of them understand that you're humans. You're going to make mistakes. And if you just own up to it and say, hey, I'm gonna be better, I'm not gonna do it again, getting out ahead of it and just controlling the narrative. But it takes a while to get the courage to be able to do that.
That part.
So here we are, and you got a Nationals team that, is still building, but man, it has to be pretty exciting to follow these guys because, I don't have to tell you, there's just a lot of young talent that we're sort of watching blossom like right in front of us.
Yeah, and I think going into this year, Ryan and I have talked about this. The wins and losses are always going to be what's most important, right?
Sure.
But when you are trying to rebuild the entire organization, secondarily, what's most important is the guys that you think are guys, will they really become that? Yeah. Will these young players that you feel like are going to be the next building blocks for your next championship organization, will they rise to that level? Or do you maybe have to pivot? Is that guy not as much a part of the future picture as you thought? And for the Nats this year, C.J. Abrams, the shortstop, has bounced back from a tough end to last year and been a stud. James Wood, the local boy, has been a stud. Dylan Cruz has been ups and downs, number 2 overall pick from a couple years ago, but has shown that he's got a lot of ability. So I think that has been really important. And Ryan and I talk about it all the time, too. When you've got a young team, there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs. Like, you're going to have stretches that are really impressive as a team, and then you're going to go through a stretch where you lose 8 out of 9, like the Nats did recently. But I think overall, the development of some of the young pieces is really important, and we've seen that.
Yeah.
When you play so many games, I've always wanted this because, we all go through those slumps. No matter if you play baseball, basketball, football, even, I see guys on the golf course out there, they have their days. But baseball, you play so many games. So we was always told ourselves as football players, you as good as your last performance. And so you're eager, you're busting your behind the hair and get to Sunday again or whatever that day that game may fall on. Baseball-wise, when you had probably one of your worst games or didn't play your best and know you got to go tomorrow, how do you get that out your head and try to, because you would think that player would say, I can't wait till tomorrow, but you see the slump be, like I just heard a slump, and somebody had 100 and something days or games of not hitting the ball or not getting on base, and I was like, what? And so I'm glad you're here because I've been wondering, like, man, how do you shake that? Like,
yeah, I mean, that's why, we said, like, he said I was a robot. He's like, that's in baseball, you kind of have to be like that. I mean, you guys once a week, it's like you're going to battle.
Yeah.
Like you're going into the Coliseum. For us, it's like you go 4 for 4, win the game, and then tomorrow you go 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. And so it's really hard to get high or low because you got a game the next day. And, I think the biggest thing with baseball is you got to figure out when you do have those slumps how to make it like 10 games instead of 20 games. And as you get older, you learn, you've hit the same way your whole life. You do, we tinker with things, but a lot of times when you panic and try and change and do something, that just makes it, because you'll do that for 4 or 5 days and then it won't work.
It won't work.
And then you'll just go back to what you were doing before, and then finally you get out of it. You learn to kind of just trust the process and stay with it. And baseball's so hard that even the best players in the game are going to have 2 stretches every year, probably 10 days to 2 weeks, where you literally feel like you can't get a hit. And it's just the mental side
that's
of the game.
the game.
And that's like, the best in the game are doing that. So like the guys that are still pretty good are probably 3 or 4 times a year where they're like that. So, we get 600 at bats.
Yeah.
So you figure it's basically 6 100-game seasons, like 100 at bat seasons. And like 2 of the 100 at bat seasons, you're going to do really well. 2 of them, you're going to do kind of really bad. And then the other 2, when you do well in those other 2, those are the seasons where you're like an all-star.
Wow.
So it's like it's a mental grind for sure. Health grind because you're playing every day, but the mental side of it's tough.
I can imagine.
When you look at longevity, this can go across sports or different careers. Like in your mind, Tan, I can ask you this, Dan. When you're trying to continue down a career path, like is there one thing that you always kind of lean down where you're like, all right, this is competitive. I want to stay down this path. How do I kind of keep going, or what is my mindset? Because especially in sports, as you know, most pro careers flame out pretty quickly like that.
Yeah, my dad always told me someone's always trying to take your job, and especially our job, because we had the best jobs in the world. We're getting to play a game for a living.
Kids game.
Yeah, we get to have fun. We get to do things in clubhouses with buddies. We're acting like we're 12 years old and we're 30 years old. So I just always took it as a pleasure, and just every day was like, hey, man, don't take it for granted. And someone's always going to want your spot, because why wouldn't they? So, as I got older too, you learn and you start to just be a little bit more consistent. But that's kind of the way I looked at it. Like, why wouldn't someone want to have my job? I'm not going to let them take it.
Yeah. He hit it spot on. I think it's easy to just say, I'm going to be this guy that I was that got me here.
Yeah.
I think every year we evolve. And with that being said, there's somebody behind you doing the same thing. He's in your back pocket. And I've always took the approach of never taking anything for granted. But at the same time, I learned this early out the gate, because when I got into the league, I hurt my knee immediately in training camp. So to go through that and see how it felt in the building as a rookie, being the first round draft pick and can't play, and how they looked at me and how they responded to my injury as if I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I say, woo, I don't want to feel this again. So, you know how we say it, we walk around in life and say health is wealth. If I take care of my health, that's the longevity of I should be able to live long. Same way in our sport. If I take care of my health, I should be able to take care of my pockets. I should be able to take care of my spot. Because as long as I'm healthy, I can go out there and be productive. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I looked at it. So I sat there and I was a sponge, man. I talked to Curtis Martin. He talking about a Hall of Famer. I talked to, Marvin Jones, all these guys, Aaron Glenn's. I played with all these guys as rookies. So I'm watching them bring in trainers, bring in masseuse and stuff like that, and just chiropractors. And by the time I got here in my 5th year, I had it all right, because I got a team together to take care of my body. And trust me, that's when I saw me do like this. You know what I mean? Because for those first 4 years, I was dealing with, you name it, hamstring, knee. I just couldn't get right. And by the time I got here, it just clicked for me. It said, that last year to get here, I kind of started, toning in on a lot of that stuff. But when I got here, thanks to Sean Springs, because he introduced me to his guy. When I met him, it was all history then.
It's got to be one of those things too, that the game is always evolving.
Yeah.
And there's tape out there on you too. And so if you had a good year, that's great.
Yeah.
But everybody knows what allowed you to have that success, and the game is going to continue to grow. So how are you evolving to stay ahead of that curve, right? And make sure that you got some other tricks in your bag, or you know, you're not just falling back on what you've already accomplished, that you're always working for more. I'd imagine.
No doubt.
So, trash talk.
You actually two guys. I'm sure you ain't.
I'm sure you talk some trash.
See, we miss Fred right now. We missing Fred.
We missing what's Fred saying? Like 2/3 of the earth is covered by water, the other third is covered by Fred Smoot.
We don't know what he's talking about.
He's only said that a billion times.
Yeah, we don't know what he's talking about.
I mean, so you didn't. But I don't know. Like, I certainly didn't play. Did you ever talk trash, or were you didn't seem like someone? Or every now and then, would you drop something on somebody?
I mean,
subtle, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost, yes, I would say so. I definitely not, you nailed it. I'm not a huge trash talker.
Right.
I'm probably maybe one of the most non-confrontational people. Yeah, I mean, but I think there's different, like we all, like what I miss most about not playing is competing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like me versus that pitcher, me being in that big spot in the ninth inning, like you can't recreate that in, I call it civilian life.
At all.
You know, like, we play golf or you do, you know, you can try to, and it gets the juices flowing a little bit in some things, but you know, there's nothing like being, and like that, I would say that like the trash talk, I never really talk trash, but I think performing and like kind of doing little things and almost like doing things well and then not like pimping a homer, not like, I think that pissed people off more than anything else, just acting maybe not.
Like, why aren't you saying something?
Yeah. So that was kind of that's pretty boring, but that's what I
Was there anybody that really got under either of your guys' skin when you played?
All the time. Come on, I'm a receiver, so you know to me the best trash talkers are guys that play smooth position, the cornerbacks. I mean, I don't have to see no one else. I mean, you walk past linebackers every now and then. You might get a London. But I play with him. You might get a guy that tell you, don't come across the middle no more.
Would London talk any smack?
You hear all the time. Yeah,
really?
All the time. London was telling somebody something, but it wasn't like Fred kind of smack. It was like he meant what he said.
Yeah,
like,
Fred would say something and you're
Fred
laughing.
say something and you basically laughing.
Right.
He getting you out your game. You know what I mean? Me, myself, I'm the same way. Like, you rarely going to hear me say anything. The most I've talked, if you see my ball spinning. When I start spinning the football,
that was your signature.
That's my talk. That's what I'm letting talk. And guys, look, I've heard guys tell me like, bro, I said so much to you in the game, and you never said nothing back. And then before you know it, it's an 80-yard bomb or a 70. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I talk. I'm gonna talk with the plays. And the way you get me to say something to you, I ask you if you're tired yet. Because I know they still rapping, so I'm like, you ain't tired? You ain't tired of talking yet?
Yeah.
And that's probably about as far as I go. And then don't get me wrong, I had Richard Sherman was probably the worst. Out of all the guys I faced, he was the worst. But I can say he's the one that got to me. It bothered me so much because at the time, he got me at the right time. I wasn't myself. I felt like I was just getting back off a broken hand.
I was going to say, were you banged up?
I was just getting back, and I'm like, oh, man. I don't really have me to really go out here and shut him up. So I'm talking back to him. You know what I mean? And I'm like telling you, now you getting into you know what I mean? He invited you and you walked in the door, you know? And so, but I give him full credit, man, because most of those guys, like a Fred, like Richard, you know, they back it up. You know, those guys are the best of the best. They're not just talking trash. They know what they bring. You know, their game is on the same level of their mouths. At times we kid with Fred and tell him that he talked better than he played, but we know we just pulling his leg at times. But no, I hated it, honestly, man. And that's the way I shut guys up. I shut them up by just making plays. I'm going to make the play, spin the ball. I might giggle at them, especially if I score. I giggle at them, and it's like, you know what I mean? You jog past them, you give them that giggle or give them that smirk. They'll leave you alone, man. Because they mama embarrassed. That's what I used to tell them, man. You going to embarrass your mama today. She see the back of that jersey, man.
So I remember the funniest smack I've ever heard. This is a buddy of mine. He was telling me when he was in high school, and it was a coach coming down on him, and he said he was trying out for quarterback in high school, and his coach goes, his name is Ben Cecil. He's a funny guy. He goes, yeah, I was trying out for quarterback in high school. My coach goes, Cecil, I got 4 guys trying out for quarterback right now, and you're running in 8th.
Oh,
It's like, yeah, that's when I knew.
Yeah, that's when I knew.
He's like, I'm not gonna make quarterback this year.
It
Yeah,
wasn't-
not
it
gonna
wa-
happen.
It wasn't for him.
No.
When you look at, and for all of you guys, I mean, whether it's covering sports, being a part of the sports scene, when you look back at your careers, what is your most favorite moment? I mean, I don't want to speak for anyone here, but whether it's covering something or being part of something where we thought this is the moment I've been waiting for it.
Oh, man. What do you got,
I think for me, as a kid that was never athletic enough to, do what you guys did professionally, but always wanted to, the first year that I was the national sideline reporter, 2014, you guys win the division, and I'm in the clubhouse. You guys are partying your asses off. There's beer, champagne getting sprayed everywhere, and I was in there too, and I was doing the interviews, and I didn't make it, but you're still in that same place that you wanted to be. So. That felt like a really cool moment. And then obviously the World Series is pretty special.
I think media with baseball, like sideline, they travel with us too. So I mean, you create bonds with them, and you have to respect each other. I mean, they have a job to do. A lot of times we don't want to do stuff with them, but so you create a relationship. So when we won, I mean, them being in there, I can imagine is fun. Like you said, you're not like on the team, but you're part of the team. And it's, baseball is so much different because we just play so many more games than any other sport. So we spend more time with each other than our families for
You do.
basically 7 months out of the year.
Yeah.
That is pretty, I mean, I'm trying to think I think for me, it's more, I was 20 years old when I came up. I think the first couple of years of your career, you're just trying to I guess, establish yourself. And it's got to be kind of the same in football. Like, doesn't matter if you're a top pick or whatever. I mean, you got to come in and earn the respect of your teammates, of your peers. And I think learning as a young person how to handle yourself, how to, get your routine and get your work ethic, and then just how to treat it as a job, but at the same time have fun. Because, I mean, it is your livelihood.
Yeah.
Like he said, I mean, health is wealth, or best ability is availability, and you only got one chance, and it's a small window, like you said. And for me, it was kind of learning my routine, how to go about things, and what can make me the most successful. And it took me a couple of years to figure it out, but then just respecting the game and respecting the opportunity, I think, is the best way to put it.
Was there one moment though? Because 11 walk-off home runs in your career. You hit a World Series homer. You've had some really big ones.
I'll always say World Series. I think individual stuff is awesome, and at the end of the day, you obviously celebrate those. And when you're hanging with your buddies and talking about stuff, you talk about individual things that you've won, but nobody comes up and asks you about, like, hey, what was that Silver Slugger in this year? They ask you, like, what was it like to win the World Series?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And as a player, I think we would all give up all of our individual stuff to win world championships
Tell me about it.
every year. I mean, it's just so hard.
Santana looks to the ceiling.
Oh, my God.
Sorry about that.
The dagger.
But it's true.
But I also think fans don't know how hard it is to win that ultimate prize. Like, I hear people, they lose in the first round of the playoffs. Like, man, if your team's making the playoffs every year, you should be happy. And I know that's hard to say.
Yeah.
But like, just making the playoffs at any elite level is hard. And then to actually run the table and be the last team, I just don't think people understand how hard it is to do that. So I guess, World Series for sure.
Yeah.
I don't have a World Series or a Super Bowl to talk about, or any championship on the professional level, but I can honestly say that one of the moments that stand out to me is when I was a young buck in the league. Second year, first year I missed the first 12 games and preseason from I think I had a meniscus tear. Instead of doing what they do by carving it out and you back in 4 weeks, my doctor, I went and got a second opinion back home in Miami. I just got drafted in, from University of Miami. We had a great doctor down there, Dr. Uribe. I'm thinking I'm pronouncing his name right. But he was my second opinion. They told me I can go get it. And when I came back, I had already had the surgery. Because he told me I would not carve it out. I would save the majority of it, because if you carve this out, you're not going to be yourself then after 4 years. He told me that. And so when I got back, I was already bandaged up and had my and they was pissed. The Jets was Because they just thought, hey, this is our
So
first
they
round.
assumed you were going to go into the night.
They thought I was going to go over there, just let them look at it, and I come back, they going to do the surgery. 4 weeks, I'm out, and by the season start, I'm ready to go. And having a great agent and having Uribe in my corner was big for me. It was huge. So long story short, they was pissed, and you had the veterans like, so they say, every time you saw me walking in a hall with my crutches, we had a guy, Mo Lewis. I'll never forget Mo Lewis. He meant so much to my career because he was getting at me, like he was joking with me, but at the same time, it didn't sit well with me. Because I'm not a guy that this is my first time having to miss this much of a season. I broke my jaw in college and missed one game. Told him to put a plate in it. Let's go. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not the guy to sit out. But they taking it as this guy just got paid. He fat and happy now. He don't want to play. So I would walk in the hall. There you go. So they say he fast. They say he gonna change our team. He ain't do nothing yet. Like, it bothered me. But
Was he doing it on purpose?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. I didn't know if he liked me or not. I was like, this guy just don't like me.
Yeah.
And I left him alone because he's a linebacker. Hey, I don't deal with those dudes. And Marvin Jones, being that we was family, he was a linebacker. He was like, Tanner, don't worry about him, man. He just getting after you.
Yeah.
So fast forward year 2, like I said, stuff I wasn't getting right. I go in, we play a Monday night game, and I break a long punt return, and everybody hype. But as I break this punt return, I have a high ankle sprain, twist my ankle, and I'm talking about I feel it in my knee, and I can't.
That's a high. That's a high.
That's a high one. Like, I couldn't go back out there now, and we lose the game because of the other punt returner fumbled the ball, and all he had to do is catch it. We win the game. He fumbled the ball, gave them a good field. You know they blamed me. If Tanner just come out there and catch the punt. I'm like, this is getting out of hand. So a week or two later, we finna play New England, and everybody like, you gonna play? I'm like, bro, I got a high ankle sprain. Last high ankle sprain I had, it took 5 weeks. I don't know, you know? And Mo Lewis, the guy, told me, he said, man, look, us linebackers, man, we give you a little something for that. It's gonna make everything go dark, but you'll be able to play. And at the time, I'm trying to win these guys. I'm like, bro, whatever, man. I want to play. You know, I'm not even, right now I know it's a high ankle sprain. If I can't feel it and I can go out there, I'm sure I can play. And they gave me, it was a Vicodin. I don't know what it was, but I swear, like, I can
Probably
hear.
something like that.
I can hear a needle drop in the nosebleeds. That's how focused I was. Like, I heard everything. And
then you took one every game for the rest of the year.
He took one before this podcast interview.
Right? You would think that. I wish it was that easy. But I was scared of it. I say, bro, I don't never want to be that focused and not feel nothing ever in my life again. But I played the game of my life. and the first person we won the game. I scored a touchdown. I had like over 200-something yards, punt return yards on the Pats. And they was big in our division. And Mo Lewis came to me and say, oh, now I see what they say. Dapped me off.
you up, yep.
And I'm sitting there like, so that stood out to me more than anything in my career over the good games, the playoff wins, you know, and I had some big playoff wins with them, but it just stood out, man, that they have finally accepted me because they saw that I wasn't trying to just be this guy
That was your moment where you felt like, now I belong.
Yeah, I belong. I'm here. I arrive.
Before we wrap up, this is an Anna special. Lovely Anna, our producer here, does a great job. So, top 3 athletes in DC history. You're like, come on, dude, don't ask me this question.
You asking me first?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
All right. I'm gonna go with different. I'm gonna use the I guess you could say football, basketball, baseball. No, I'm gonna go hockey. I'm gonna let hockey get in this because I gotta say Ovi.
You got
Ovi is one. I'm gonna put Ovi up there. As one of the guys. I mean, gotta talk to Ovi. Baseball, it's you, buddy. I hate to say it. I'm not being biased. I'm just gonna put it out there. And if I say football, I say Darryl Green.
You gotta put D Green.
DG. Mm-hmm. I feel like those 3 right there, you can't miss.
Thanks, Zim.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can have this conversation without Ovi.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, greatest goal scorer of all time and completely changed one of the major sports in a major market. I mean, kids are playing hockey now in this era basically because of him. We'll go wild card with the second one, swimmer.
Katie Ledecky.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one,
I
man.
love it.
I was
Katie
going to pull that one
Ledecky.
out. Good one.
She's come by the field a couple times and just talked with her. I mean, she's an awesome person, but like just what she's done. I mean, she's dominant. And I read something the other day that she just broke some other. I mean,
Yeah, at an age where
She's not supposed to win the
swimmers have
Olympic.
been retired by like
it's gonna be
5
like her
years by now.
fourth
Wow.
Olympics or something crazy
Yeah.
like that. Oh man, no, last one. Oh God, this is tough. I don't know if he's greatest of all time, but I remember going when Gilbert Arenas, him and John Wall.
I was gonna bring him up, but
Yeah.
I had to put Ovi
Yeah.
in the picture, so I had to put basketball out.
Gilbert was like white hot for like
it was
3 years.
It was
3 years
3 years,
there.
just
It
like
was something
white
else.
hot.
Like
Yeah.
unbelievable. With
Yeah.
so fun to
like,
watch.
Agent
So
Zero.
like, obviously there wasn't a ton of longevity, but
Yeah.
you talk about like hottest ticket in town or like what people, you know,
Yep.
NBA is. If you
Yeah.
can go like sit on the floor and watch Gilbert
Yeah.
play, that was like you go do that.
Yeah. It
So
was lights out.
he comes to mind.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'll go Ovi. I'll go Daryl Green. And sorry, buddy, I'll go Max Scherzer.
Sure.
I would agree.
Every 5 days, that guy had a chance to do something like historically special. So
Yeah.
I'm going that.
Walter Johnson going way
Yeah.
back. Everybody's like, dude.
Hey, before we wrap, Jenks,
Yes.
can I just thank Santana as a kid who grew up in Silver Spring? The game against the Cowboys, 2005, down by 2 scores late. You guys hadn't put up a point yet. Mark Brunell throws 2 bombs to you.
Bang bang.
Bang, bang, 2 touchdowns. You guys win on the road at Dallas. That made me very, very happy.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
You know, us little people being thought of every now and then.
And people always, they love that
No,
game.
they love it,
Everywhere we
man.
go, I'm
Hey,
like, they always remember
Trust me,
that was one of your moments.
If you
man.
know anything about me in this area, you're gonna know that. That's one stat.
No doubt.
Well, guys, hey, congratulations on the new pod, the 11th Inning Podcast. We're going to be checking that out. And thanks for coming by, Ryan Zimmerman, Dan Kolko, two of the
was
best
big,
in this
man.
region. And it's been great following you on the field and you off the field for a long time.
Thanks, buddy.
Well,
Great being
appreciate
here.
you guys.
Yeah, it's fun to be here, and look forward to watching you guys this year.
Absolutely. Great talking to those guys.
No doubt.
I mean, anytime you can bring all of us sports fans in the DMV together, that's a beautiful thing.
I just didn't know how we were so youthful, man. All of us around the same age, you know. Felt good about myself today, man.
I started to say, we were saying that you last played in 2014.
Yes.
I only bring that up because I'm like, I had a friend of mine tell me one time, he's like, you always see people the way you see them when you first meet them.
When you first
You
met
know?
them.
So when I'm like, Tanner played a couple years ago.
Yeah,
Man, time flies, my friend.
it does.
This summer, SeatGeek has your tickets to the best live concerts in the DMV at Northwest Stadium. SeatGeek makes it easy to catch world-conquering tours and high-wattage performances from all of your favorite artists all summer long. SeatGeek has the best seat, your seat, for an unforgettable summer. From rock royalty to rap superstars, R&B to country, find it all on SeatGeek, the official primary ticketing partner of Northwest Stadium. Summer concert season officially starts with SeatGeek. So Fred is not here, and we were talking with Dan and Ryan about, going from, watching them, covering those guys to where they are now. What's it like for you, as much as we give Fred a hard time,
Yeah.
I mean, playing with him, did you ever imagine that years later you guys would be working together in the media?
Had no clue. I had no clue. And I think one of the things I wanted to ask them is especially Ryan, does he have the same excitement that I have just going to the games and covering them? I feel like I'm out there. And I tell folks all the time, like, I was so locked in as a player I never enjoyed the things that happened before or after the game. It was almost like go back home, reboot, and get ready for next week.
Yeah.
Now I'm enjoying all that stuff. I'm enjoying, I'm having fun with the tailgating and with just the different things that they do after the game. So that's what I get a kick out the most now of covering the game is just being a part of the whole atmosphere.
Do you have more of an appreciation now for what you went through in your career when you look back now that, the dust is, I know it's been a little bit,
Yeah.
but still at the same time, wisdom and age will tend to give you a little perspective.
What I always said to myself is that I rather enjoy what I have to enjoy now or then, and do all the other stuff later. So I'm glad that I was locked in and focused because who knows, if I wasn't, maybe I wouldn't have had the long career. Maybe I wouldn't have been able to be that guy for my team. So I'm glad that I was locked in, but now, man, I'm living it up. I'm enjoying every bit of it.
Great to have you here, man. Won't be long before
As
football
always.
season's here, my friend.
Can't wait.
That's it for the Get Loud podcast. Hey, let us know what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe. If there's a rookie you want us to preview, have some questions, just let us know. We'll get to that. That's the great Santana Moss. I'm Michael Jenkins. We'll see you next time.
6, 7, 4, 1, 9.
The views and opinions expressed by our podcast guests and or hosts are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Washington Commanders or any of their representatives.